All right, ready, fire, aim is no strategy at all for getting a job dug correctly. We're going to stop that nonsense today. We're pulling out of the PaveTech warehouse where we unloaded every tool. We put it into our trailer. And where are we headed, Chris?
Baltimore, Maryland.
Baltimore, Maryland, where they say words like water.
So we need to get that first mark, that first pin in. Okay, just perfect. Man, that was almost right on. Bang right on. I'm good. Right, so it works exactly the same way.
Job site crashers number 2, baby. All right, what phase of this job are we on, Chris?
This will be the third phase of this project. You can see phase 1 and 2 coming around the side of the house. We're going to start with an upper patio here that's going to step down to a little lower fireplace area down below.
So we have the tiered walls, we have the pool deck, and the steps leading to what will eventually be what we call the upper patio. You see the threshold of the door or the basement floor at the top, that upper patio. We need to meet that set of steps to the pool deck and be flush. So that area is going to be area 1, upper patio. We'll set all our grades and elevations for that first. Then we'll move to our amphitheater set of seating or steps. Now we want a consistent rise and run across the upper patio and the lower patio. So we're going to call that part 2. We're going to set all our elevations to make sure that we're consistent. There's no trip hazards. Phase 3, or part 3 of this phase, is going to be this lower patio. And we have a retaining wall on the bottom side, eventually a natural gas fire feature. And phase 4, I think, or 5, I forget, is this wood deck that's going to be over here. And we want to meet at that rise and run calculation for the steps right on. Also very important. So we're going to grade this job out just the way we would eat an elephant. One bite at a time, one section at a time. Techo quiz. Techo quiz. Everybody grab your clickers.
Maximum allowable variation in the depth of excavation is A, plus 3/4 of an inch, minus 1/2. B, plus or minus 3/8 over 10 feet. C, plus or minus 3.2 millimeters. Or D, all the above.
The answer is A, plus 3/4 minus 1/2. Who got it right? There's one in the front row. The answer is plus 3/4 minus 1/2. That's the maximum allowable variation. All right. Now, everybody has a handout. On the back is a grading plan that looks like this. It says grading plan on the back. Okay, so let's get a name for this job. So let's call it the Kyle job. Kyle Moyer, right? That's the name of this job. We're making up something. Right. You're local. Shut it. In the upper left-hand corner of the screen, there's this big rectangular box. See where it says upper patio? That's what I want you to write there. Upper patio in the upper left-hand corner. Below that, write existing conditions. Those are the grades and elevations that your salesperson, your designer will get you. They will go out and check on the project to make sure everything is what it's supposed to be. Below that, you see finished grades. So write FG, just as an abbreviation. FG, just below that box. FG is where the proposed elevation of the pavement is going to be when the project is done. Now, a designer, a salesperson will give us that information. Will it be right? Probably. But every once in a while, some adjustments will be made in the field. We have 2 objectives when we talk about finished grade. The first objective is get water away from the house. The second objective is get it off the pavement as quickly as possible. So that's our finished grade thoughts. Now below that you see TOB, or top of base elevation. So write that down on your sheet, TOB. Now that elevation is going to tell us where the base elevation needs to be, so we have to know the thickness of the paver and the bedding layer. We'll get there. And then BOE, that's why that quiz question was relevant. Plus 3/4 minus 1/2 is the elevation change or allowable variation in the thickness of the base, which is very relevant. So, at the top of the screen, I want you to write 1 through 8. 1 through 8. Why did I pick 1 through 8? Because there's 8 grade stakes on the upper patio. 8 grade stakes on the upper patio. Okay? So we have 8 grade stakes. Now, stake number 1 is a very relevant stake. Why is that relevant? What's stake number 1 of the upper patio? Who knows? Chris?
It is the
It's benchmark. That's right. So write benchmark up there. Now, what is our elevation at stake number 1? 0 is the right answer. Could be 100, could be 1,000. I write it as 0 plus 0. So stake number 1, give me 0 plus 0, Chris. 0 plus 0. That's my existing conditions elevation. Below EC, write FG. Now, what is the finished grade elevation at stake number 1? Now, this is a trick question, so think through it. Think through it. What was my finished grade elevation at stake number 1, the benchmark? 0 plus 0 is incorrect because we're in a freeze-thaw susceptible climate on densely graded stone with clay soils. So we're going to have expansion and contraction, right? So now I want my elevation to be 0 minus 1/2. I want to allow for a 1/2 inch of variation during the freeze-thaw cycles. Now the next one is TOB. TOB. So what's my top of base elevation? I have to pick a paving stone. Pick a paving stone.
Let's do blue 60.
Blue 60. 60 millimeters is 2 3/8. What's the thickness of your bedding layer? 1 inch is wrong. 1 inch is wrong. 1 inch is before compaction. 5/8 is the correct answer. So 5/8 plus 2 3/8 equals 3. So now our top of base elevation is 0 minus 3.5. Follow me? Now we've got to pick a thickness of base. We're doing a patio. It's in a backyard. It's in Maryland. Not a real deep frost line, only about 18 inches. Not a big deal. But clay soils, expansion, contraction, let's say 6 inches of base, backyard patio. Sound good? Okay, let's say 6 inches. So now we're at 0 minus 9.5. That's right. Chris, give me 2 lines across the top. Give me 2 lines across the top. Who gives me that data? Who gathers that data for me? Who gets the existing conditions of what's on site and proposes the finished grade? Salesperson. That's right. Sales, design, whoever, right? They're out there on the job. They shoot all their grades. They propose a finished grade of pavement. Who gives me these? Who gives me top of base elevation and bottom of excavation elevation? Who gives me that data? No, not typically. Typically, the foreman will determine to make sure that the excavation and the base and all those elevations, right, are set and correct. Now, here's what we're proposing. We're proposing a change. Put a big X through that word foreman. Put an arrow up to sales. Let's start getting our salespeople, our designers, to do this math while they're sitting at their office at a desk versus a foreman who's trying to do math on an iPhone and avoid being run over by a skid steer. Do you follow me? I'm not saying our foremen aren't smart enough to do the math. They are, absolutely. But it's about efficiency and productivity. So we're going to try to get our salespeople to give us these grading schedules for these 3 little parts of the project, upper patio, amphitheater, and lower patio, and that will be in our job jacket. Questions on grading plans and grading schedules? How they work. All this is loaded up on our knowledge-based website. You can download it anytime you want. Put me back up on the screen, please. So here are the distances for all our pins. There are those 8 grade stakes. Now there are 2 that are very relevant. You got the benchmark, which is the threshold of the door of the basement floor, very relevant, and this drain here, because we don't want water running back towards the house, and we never run water towards a set of steps. Set of steps is just a retaining wall. So we're going to catch that water in the drain and run it off.
So we're at the point of our project where we need to get our layout done. All the utilities have been marked.
Yes.
We just got to kind of paint out that perimeter.
Correct.
How would you kind of start a project like this?
We need to find a center point that we can pull off of. Because this has a coliseum or a true circle in it, we need to find the center of that circle, and then we can extrapolate everything out from there.
Perfect. Let's do it.
Let's do it. So the way we did that, grab that and then go back and make sure you hold that point for me, please.
So you're 32 off that corner of the house.
And 30 feet off that
corner
of the wall. So we have
of the
fixed
wall.
points. So we cross our tape measures right there. There's 30 and 32, you see?
Okay, yep.
Okay, and then I go ahead to here. This is important because this is how we're going to extrapolate that circle and get us exactly where we need to be.
And that circles the amphitheater
Yes.
set of steps.
Correct.
Down to the lower landing.
Correct.
Okay, so our entire layout is based on this point.
Yes, it is.
So we're going to mark everything off of that, paint the entire area out.
So the initial visit, I show up, I bring my zip level,
Okay.
which is this tool here. This allows me to figure out from my benchmark or my zero, which is the basement floor,
Right.
how much higher or lower any particular point is. So this is really great because what this lets me do is it lets me prove to the client while I'm here what the actual necessities are. So do they need a wall or do they not need a wall?
Okay.
And it's at zero.
Boom, 0, yeah?
Exactly.
That's your benchmark.
That's my benchmark.
That never changes,
No.
whether this concrete pad's here or
Exactly.
not. So now you will walk around the site and get other,
Whatever elevations
show me another one.
So let's take a walk. And right now, this is coming in at right around mine's 13.0. When it beeps, it hits it. So
Okay.
I'm about 13 inches lower here than I am there. So we're going to have a cut line here because we have to go deeper.
There's a lot of ways to do this.
There are.
One of the ways that I've learned to do it is with an optical transit and a tape measure.
Okay.
Can you have a Sharpie with you?
I sure do.
Can you give me a mark there on the door?
I can. How about I go right at the bottom of the handle, Pete?
Okay, that's perfect. Now I have
Okay.
a tape measure. The tape measure is 4 inches long, okay? So I know I need to add 4 inches to whatever
Correct.
number I get. So once I drop my tape measure down, I've got an optical transit. It does have a focus to it. And I'm gonna shoot that mark you gave me. Okay, right at that point, I'm at 48 inches. So plus 4, I'm at 52.
52.
Now I can move up and shoot that exact same mark on the house, catch the mark, and now I'm at 42, so plus 4 is 46. So the difference between 46 and my other measurement is the change in grade along that mark.
6 inches.
So I can, I can go around this site, shoot all my points, put
Exactly.
this back in my pocket and move along.
Very
now,
cool.
the best and most accurate system is to use a laser level. We have our
Correct.
tripod set up. This is a handheld receiver. Once I powered it on, I can hold down the benchmark button and it will project the laser. You can see it down there on that
I
threshold.
can. I see it right now.
And it will get me a benchmark. Once that's done, I set it, and now I can use my points right here, and I can move anywhere along this site.
Very cool.
Takes a few minutes to set up,
Right.
but this is much more
The
accurate.
most accurate way to
I
do
hold
it.
the button. It's going to give me the distance measurement, the grade measurement between my benchmark and this point, and that is 4 inches and 1/8 of an inch.
And that's amazingly efficient.
amazingly efficient
Very,
and
very
accurate.
neat.
So now my crew can come in,
Yes.
get it excavated, haul out the right amount of material,
Correct.
bring in the right amount of base,
Yep.
not waste a lot of trucking time and a lot of over excavation, which can
Exactly.
cost us money.
Well, let's mark it out. What do
Let's
you say?
do it.
Come
Hey,
on, guys. Let's mark it out.
Whatever method you use is fine. There's a lot of different ways to do it. But we need to do it again on the amphitheater set of seating. Again, consistent rise and run, no trip hazards. Can't run water towards a set of steps. We have a wall on the low side as well. So you can see we have 2 drains here. This one's not in the center. We usually want it somewhere that's an aesthetically unimportant point anyway. Here we're putting it off to the side because eventually we're going to have a fire pit in that application. The lower patio, there's just 5 grade stakes. We had 8 up top. We had about 6 in the middle, 5 at the bottom. Don't worry about them being in your way. They're easily removed and replaced.
Okay, let's finish this staking
do it.
plan. Our upper area is staked. Our amphitheater seating is staked.
Correct.
Let's get, we're on stake 17. Let's get that stake in. Okay,
All right.
here's our steps. You have line collars,
I
great.
do.
Why don't you get me one here?
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
right? That one's gonna be level with,
Let's see where we're at. I'm
okay,
going to loosen her up. A little lower, a little higher.
okay. Just perfect. Man, that was almost right on. Good. Now, I just put one on very loose there because
Okay.
we know there's 18 inches of drop here, right?
Okay.
Based on our rise and run.
Correct.
We're using the Mini Creta architectural.
Yes, we are.
And the architectural cap.
Yep, the 3-inch, yep.
Right, so we have 6-inch steps, 3 of them, 18 inches of drop. So just drop that
Precisely.
pin down to that lower area.
Okay, how's
now,
that?
we used a laser level and a stick to get those pins set. And sometimes that's easy because it's easy to work from those
Correct.
pins. We could have also used the handheld unit and just shot that down. Bang right on.
Beautiful.
I'm good.
Yep.
Right, so it works exactly the same way.
Very
now
good.
our upper area is already set up. So we're staked, we've got our line collars in, and our string lines are up. Now we put them 6 inches above
Correct.
finished grade of pavement.
Yes.
So they're really out of our way, really, as we're working.
Yep.
There's our drain, right?
Yep.
So we're gonna pitch this entire area level on the perimeters, right?
Correct.
Because we have this here,
And we have the threshold of the basement door.
threshold, and over there,
We have the steps coming off of our new deck and
Right.
porch.
so we're gonna pitch everything into that drain.
Correct.
Run down with what type of a pipe?
We're going to use STR 35, and we're going to transition all of these tie-ins from a 4-inch to a 6-inch before it goes out to a gabion basket. So we minimize.
Just kind of
the
a rip-rap area.
It's
to
rip-rap.
Keep from
It's a Class B
erosion.
rip-rap.
That's
Exactly.
perfect.
Yeah.
So that's going to tie into the drain that's here. So we don't have any water sheeting over these steps.
Exactly.
Right. We don't want that.
No, we
it's
do
still
not.
a retaining wall. It just
It is.
happens to be in the shape of a set of
Precisely.
steps. So level on the perimeters. Drain to that area. All we have to do is get the rest of our collars in on this amphitheater seating,
Exactly.
and then we can finish the lower landing.
We sure can.
Let's do it.
All right.
You guys see those wooden tomato stakes laying on the ground? The wooden stakes on the ground? Do you guys know what those are for? They're for tomatoes in gardens.
Yeah.
Buy yourself
Buy
some good steaks.
concrete pins, nail pins, holes every 1 inch, wipe them down, paint them orange, get line collars, and use them. You'll have them the rest of your career, I promise you. You'll lose 1 or 2 here or there, that's about it. And don't worry about those pins being in your way. The ones that are on the perimeter are offset by 6 inches to a foot, so they won't be disturbed by the excavation. The few of those stakes that are in the belly, no big deal. Pull them out, right, when you need to excavate, and then put them right back in. Run your string line, measure down, make sure you're not under or over excavating. It's the #1 place you lose money on a job, and the shame is we start that way. Get your grade stakes in, shoot your elevations, and put them back in as you're digging. Make sure you don't under or over excavate. So what time is it?
It's tool time.
Tool time is correct. Well done is better than well said. Talking quality to a homeowner or talking about a great work environment with your team, those are just words. Techo-Bloc, tools and the team equal quality. Vacuum laying our Industria using the JM with up to 6 different configurations. Spin it. Bring it down. Or mechanically laying our Pure or Inflow. Come on in. Spin it. On a mini excavator. Go ahead and lay it. Residential or commercial, vacuum, mechanical, or hand laid. These tools are coming to my job site. With the number of slab jobs that you guys are doing, this one, for example,
Right.
wet cast, dry cast, you know, the 19 by 32s, the 30 by 30s, the 2 by 2s. There's a lot of great tools out there for handling safely these large scale units. Here's a great example. You want to give me a hand? This is a vacuum lifter, and you can see the gauge on it. As soon as that gauge gets to green, green means
Go.
go.
All right.
And this is our Aberdeen product, and you
That
can
is not
see,
light.
yeah, and we can move it around. We can lay it into place, and when we're done, click and up, and we're off to the next unit, right? Very quick.
That's quick.
We also have some manual tools, right? And these are often overlooked, and they shouldn't be, because it's very quick. With these kind of bicycle handlebar attachments, we can take this Blue Grande, we can take it over here, we can lay it into place, bring it up. We can make some adjustments to me, to here, to there, very quickly.
My guys are going to love that, and that's going to save us a lot of time and a lot of trips to the emergency room.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And regardless of the texture, the Ocean Grande slab, really taken off, really exciting. Regardless of texture, we've got that unit as well. Gives you just so many options. There are other great tools, including this one that runs off of 110 or just household current. So we've got this plugged in. It's plugged in right now to the plug just above the garage door. That's a good place to plug in. You don't kick a lot of circuit breakers. Homeowners aren't unhappy. But you can use a generator too.
Absolutely.
So it works
All
really
time,
well.
yeah.
You just hit the button. As soon as it gets to green, you're ready to go. Ready? And then we can move that unit.
Right.
You see John's going to pull that grip. And that releases. And then we're off to the next unit.
That is amazing.
So it's very, very quick way to move slabs.
Right.
Tether your cord, throw it over your shoulder, and you're ready to go.
Gotcha.
Laying these large-scale slabs, a lot of times you run into a situation where you need to pull a unit out.
Yes.
We have products that have high tone distribution, a lot of color to them. And you stand back and look at that couple thousand square foot of area and say, I want a little bit darker over there and I want a little lighter over here. I want to mix things up.
Yeah, my guys love it when I do that now, just so you know. They really, really
This is going to
appreciate
make their
it.
lives a lot
Okay.
easier. It's a slab extractor.
Okay.
Quick, easy. Give me a hand here. 2 people. He'll pinch it. We'll grab it.
No
we'll
kidding.
remove that unit
I like
safely.
that. I like
set it
that a lot.
aside. Put
Yeah.
the darker or lighter unit in, and then we'll simply set that unit back
Very
into place.
nice.
Tell you something else. With polymeric sands today, getting a good quality paver broom is so helpful. Spiral bristles, stiff bristles, get that sand in the joint, get it done quickly. Avoid that poly haze nightmare where it looks like it's all cloudy by using
We've
a
all
good
seen that.
quality broom.
Yeah, that makes it quicker. Time is money.
Absolutely. Here's another great one. This is a paver splitter. Not a paver splitter, but a slab splitter, which is just enormous units and being able to cut them with one person, early in the morning, late in the evening, no noise. We're not running any motors, right? So we can use that. We can do it safely and no dust.
This looks just like my wall splitter, but is this really going to work on a slab, Pete?
Well, let's take a look. You want to give me a little adjustment here? Let me see how much I need. I want to be at
I'm gonna stand
45.
back.
Give me a couple more. Okay, maybe a little bit more than that. You want it at about 45.
Right.
These carbide blades, they really will bite into that unit. Yeah, that's where I want to be.
Okay.
And now I don't want to put all my weight on it and split it. I want to get those blades biting into that unit. So I'm going to put some pressure, and you can see the integrity
it, yeah.
of the products that we
Yeah.
produce. And you
Wow.
can see what a
that cut.
great cut. No dust,
Beautiful.
safe.
Yep.
You mentioned no one's in the emergency room.
Exactly.
What a great unit
That is
for that.
Big labor saver.
Even hand tools, like slab grabbers.
Right.
John, you want to grab a couple units here, take them out back, or laying with them.
Right.
It does so many things.
I mean,
So what do you think? Efficiency, productivity.
Pete, there's so many different tools available here that are going to increase my efficiency, my productivity, save me time, money, and maybe even most importantly, keep my guys safe. I'm definitely going to take those.
Slab grabbers.
Oh yeah, I'm going to take the extractor because I
Okay.
love that. And I'll tell you what, why don't you hook me up? I think I'm going to take this one too.
Right. You got it.
Pete, Pete, you've known Kevin from Carroll's Landscaping for a long time, right?
I've known those guys since 1992. I've been selling them paving stones for that long. And when the director on that little film shoot said, cut, wrap, that's awesome, we're good, Kevin says, no, wait a minute, I really will take this tool and that tool and this tool. I'm like, come on, dude, you have these tools. He's like, no, I don't. I said, man, I'm sorry. I should have introduced them to you sooner. That's why this is so important. You want to keep great people, you want to keep them safe, tools is a big part of it. So remember,
Existing conditions before the sale. Let's plan for success so we're not leaving profit on the table.
yes, and let's have our designers, our salespeople, complete that grading plan, that grading schedule, put it in the job jacket, and give it to the foreman so the foreman can go out there and build it. They're not doing math on an iPhone. That's ridiculous.
Pro tools equal pride of craftsmanship. Get the right tools for your team. They'll stick around. They'll love you for it.
Absolutely.